Dear friends, we are in corporate tax management, first unit, that is introductory unit. In this corporate tax management, till now we have learned about significance of corporate taxation, concepts and definitions of corporate income tax, assessee in default, previous year, assessment year, residential status of company, incidence of tax, types of companies for tax purpose. So up to this we have learned, and today we will learn about incomes forming part of total income of a company and exempted incomes and tax-free incomes with special reference to corporate assessee. These two topics we will finish today. Coming to just what we have discussed, this is the introductory part. Taxes are divided into two types, and significance of corporate taxation we have discussed, various concepts and definitions of corporate income tax we have discussed, and coming to these are the concepts of financial year and assessment year. These are the examples, and residential status of a company based on residential status, resident company and non-resident company. Companies can be divided as. So this is taxability, tax incidence of a company. These are the types of companies under income tax. So this in the previous class we have discussed types of companies under income tax. Company in which the public are substantially interested, and a widely held company, closely held company, and Indian company, domestic company, foreign company, investment company, residence of a company. So all these topics we have discussed in our previous class. This in detail we have discussed. Now coming to incomes forming part of a company's total income. Now you can see, if in case of an ordinary individual, you will start with 5 heads of income you will find. First one will be income from salaries. In case of an ordinary individual, income from salaries. In case of a corporate asset, company assessee, salaries is not going to be there. Except this, remaining 4 will be there: income from house property, income from business or profession, income from capital gains, income from other sources such as dividends, interest on securities, lotteries. Likewise, you will find, okay, income from house property. You have to assume that, you have to think that not only house used for own purpose, but for rental purpose also, if any income is there, you have to take it into account. Not only that, but you have to remember one point. So if that particular house is used for business, that income from that house you should not take into consideration. That you have to take into account. So income from other sources like races, lotteries, or puzzles, or any all those things will come under income from other sources. All those things you have to include in a company assesses total income. Okay, these are generally going to be included. All these are going to be included in a company assesses total income. So after adding all these incomes, what you are going to do is, you have to deduct any income, any loss that is current and brought forward losses. Whatever loss that is occurred to the company in the current year, as well as previous year's losses, if at all they are brought forward, they have to be deducted, they have to be adjusted. Similarly, not only that, depreciation, if at all any unabsorbed depreciation is there, you know, on fixed assets you will find a depreciation on buildings, machinery, plants. Like unabsorbed depreciation is there, you have to make adjustments for that also, and the total will be your total income of a net total income of a company assessee. That you have to keep in mind. Okay, this is how you are going to calculate total income of a company. Now coming to exempted and tax-free incomes in case of a company assessee. Now you see, as you all know, agricultural income is the topmost under section 10, subsection 10 of 1. You will call it as agricultural income. Whatever income that is earned by indulging in agricultural activity, that is a tax-free exempted income. So dividends on shares and mutual funds, capital gains from transfer of agricultural land, capital gains on transfer of securities. So this you have to take certain conditions are there. If the company assessee fulfills those conditions, it will be tax-free income. So not only that, income from international sporting event. Suppose any income that it may be T20 cricket match or World Cup income. So it is an international sporting event, whatever income that comes from that one. So any specified income of specified persons from any international event held in India shall be fully exempted. If here person means, here we have to imply that not only individual but company also. So such, but provided the condition is such event is approved by the international body regulating the international sporting event, such as, let us take for example, if it is cricket means you will call it as ICC, International Cricket Council is there. Suppose Olympics, a company conducted in India, let us take for example, it may be Reliance company or it may be Tata company, it may be Birla company, any company. International Olympic Committee, IOC, should give permission for that. Okay, it should be recognized by IOC. Then whatever income that comes, there it will be deemed as tax-free income up to certain extent. It has participation by more than 2 countries. At least 2 countries, minimum 2 countries should participate. It is notified by the central government in this regard. So the central government should notify it in a gazette. So all these things a company should keep in mind. So amount received as subsidy from or through the concerned board. See, in India, separate boards are established for the development of agricultural products or agricultural related products like rubber, tea, coffee, cardamom plants, or plants for growing of such other commodities. So in order to encourage those production, those commodities production, certain boards are established: rubber board, tea board, cotton board, coffee board, like that. So any amount received as a subsidy from or through the concerned board for replantation or replacement of all these will be fully exempted from tax. So amount received as subsidy from or through the tea board. So just like as I mentioned earlier, tea board is also there. So in case of a taxpayer, it may be a company or a cooperative society, any taxpayer who carries on business or of growing and manufacturing tea in India, the amount of any subsidy received from or through the tea board under this scheme, which is notified with this number dated 27th September 1976. But to claim this exemption, a certificate from the tea board as to the amount of subsidy paid to the taxpayer during the year is to be obtained. So if you want to claim that deduction from the income tax department, you have to produce a certificate from the tea board that the income is received from so and so board for so and so purpose. Then deduction can be claimed. So exemption for certain incomes of a venture capital company. Venture means daring. So in the competitive world, every day new companies are being established. Venturing means daring, courageously. Suppose a new company is being established in Hyderabad, let us take for example, which produces robots, let us take for example. With lot of courage, a company has come forward to establish a robot, to manufacture a robot. So that in order to encourage such industries, in order to encourage such companies, the government is giving certain tax concessions, certain tax reliefs. So not only that, those companies which are engaged in SEZs, means special economic zones, and export oriented undertakings, certain exemptions are there up to, you have to remember, in all such cases, almost for first 5 years, total income is exempt, 100% income is exempt from tax free income. So undertakings which are indulged in power sector or telecommunications, infrastructure development, industrial parks, in all these cases, you have to remember, normally it is first 5 years, so all incomes are exempt from tax. And companies which are established in backward and other notified areas, there in all such cases, first 5 years no tax, next 5 years 50% tax, like that. So development of not only those who are working in SEZ, but for the development of SEZ also, if any company is established, for that company also tax exemptions are there. So companies which are providing services by way of establishing hospitals in rural areas, in such case also tax exemption are there. Tax exemptions are there. Food processing companies, from raw food, if they are processing that raw food into a packaged food, then such companies will receive tax exemptions. Up to, you have to remember, as I mentioned, first 5 years no tax for a majority of these kinds of companies, you have to remember. So Indian company with scientific and industrial research and development as its main object and approved by prescribed authority shall be entitled to claim deductions under section 80 IB. So companies which are trying to find out certain new things with the help of research and development as its main object. So they want to find out a new thing. Now let us take, for example, companies are established, certain company is working to find out a vaccine for corona disease in our country, let us take for example. So whatever income that is received by such company is fully tax exempt, because it is working in a specific research area for the development of humankind, for the protection of mankind. So that we have to keep in mind. So under section 80 IAC, profits and gains derived from an eligible startup from specified business. So certain business organizations are specified as startups, means new of its kind. So their incomes are eligible to be deducted, to be tax exempted rather. So under section 80 IA, Indian company formed before 30/11/2005 with majority equity participation by public sector companies to reconstruct or revive a power generating plant shall be entitled to claim a deduction. So as you all know, power is a major source of economic growth. So those companies which are established before 30th November 2005 with majority equity participation by public sector companies to revive or reconstruct a power generating plant, for them also certain deductions are there, certain tax exemptions are there. Provided, here is such condition is there, provided it begins to generate or transmit or distribute power before 31st March 2011. That condition is there. If a company fulfills that condition, so such income will be tax exempt up to a certain level, certain limit. Now 80PA, under section 80PA, a producer company engaged in an eligible business of marketing, purchase or processing of agricultural produce of its members. So a producer company which indulges in a business of marketing or purchasing or processing of agricultural produce, then such company is liable to receive certain tax exemptions. Under section 115BA, concessional rate of tax for domestic company, if such company has been set up and registered on or after 1st March 2016 and It is engaged in business of manufacturing or production of any article or thing subject to certain other conditions, fulfillment of certain other conditions are there. And income shall, at the option of such company, be computed at a concessional tax rate of 25%. So if the company which is established after 1st March 2016 opts for concessional tax rate, their income will be taxed at 25% tax rate only. That you have to keep in mind. So amortization of expenditure. So incurred in connection with amalgamation or demerger on or after 1/4/99, subject to certain, you know what is merger and what is demerger. Merger means, suppose let us take for example A, B, C companies are there, 3 different companies. Merge means A plus B plus C combined, they formed together, they came together and formed a company called Y. This is merger. Demerger means, suppose after working for 5 years, the Y company separated into A and B. This is the demerger. Okay. So amortization of expenditure means certain expenditure will be nullified. So subject to certain conditions, allowed as a deduction in 5 successive years in equal installments, beginning with, so whatever expenditure that is incurred in demergers or amalgamations. Amalgamation means clubbing, joining. Demerger means opposite of that. Okay. So whatever expenditure that is involved in amalgamation and demerger, that deduction, that expenditure will be allowed as deduction for successive 5 years. Okay. But you have to keep in mind this is with respect to expenditure. Remaining all are incomes, whatever income that is incurred for production of tea or rubber or any other like this, whatever we have discussed. Okay. So these are specific exemptions that are available to companies under Income Tax Act. So these are tax free and tax exempt incomes with reference to companies or corporate associates in India. So with this, the first unit is completed, dear friends. In first unit, we have learnt about significance of corporate taxation, concepts and definitions of corporate income tax, assessee in default, previous year, assessment year, residential status of company, incidence of tax, types of companies for tax purpose, incomes forming part of total income of a company, exempted incomes, and tax-free incomes with special reference to corporate assessee. I hope you are able to understand, you understood this first unit, and in the next unit, we will come to know about corporate taxation. I mentioned in this class what are the various incomes forming part of total income of a company. So computation part we will learn in the next unit. Computation of income from house property, business, capital gains, other sources, set off and carry forward of losses, deductions out of gross total income, GTI means, and under section 80 applicable to companies, computation of total income and tax liability of company. What is MAT, minimum alternative tax, dividend tax, problems with special focus on computation of total income and tax liability. These all topics we will learn in next unit. In our next class, I will start second unit. So thank you very much, dear friends. We will meet in next.